And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. While former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton remains the frontrunner for the Democratic nomination, it appears that the controversy surrounding her email scandal is responsible for causing a major drop in her favorability numbers and those who find her trustworthy. The latest CNN ORC poll finds that 57% of voters now deem Mrs. Clinton to be untrustworthy. A Statistics Zogby poll founder, John Zogby, told our own J.D. Hayworth, has opened the door wide for another Democratic candidate.
When push comes to shove, Hillary is going to be viewed as unelectable, is going to worry the establishment of her party, is not going to generate any enthusiasm among Latinos, among African Americans, for that matter, among young voters. Somebody will come, and it could very well be Joe Biden.
We've talked about Vice President Joe Biden entering the race before. But if it's not Biden, who else do you think could be in the race? Joe Concha. In fact, let me throw one at you. Could we see the return of John Kerry as the Democratic standard bearer again?
Rick, he almost won in 2004. People forget that.
Almost.
President Bush had to win Ohio to win that election. That was a very
Northeastern Ohio. That's exactly right.
And without the swift voting, is he become president? Maybe. Just got the Iran deal done. True. I think Elizabeth Warren is reconsidering her decision.
Do you really?
Based on Bernie Sanders and how successful he's been. She's Bernie without the socialism and is more electable without the age.
So Heather, that's not an unfair statement. You know, you go back and look at what Elizabeth Warren's reasons were for not running. She sees the success that Bernie Sanders is having, and Joe's right. She's Bernie Sanders without the socialism. Yep. Could she, A, get the nomination, and B, if she got the nomination, does she stand a chance of winning a general election?
I think she could get the nomination. I think she's very powerful in the Democratic Party. I don't think she can win the election. I think she's too left, just like I think that there's some people who are too right to win the general, and I think that it would be a disservice to the country if we get somebody who's that left and that right running. I think we need, it'd be nice to see someone young in the Democratic Party who actually could step up and do this, and I don't know who it might be.
Brad, shock us. Give us a name nobody's thinking of.
I don't really have one on this one. I do think, though, that you should never underestimate Hillary's capacity to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. She presumes a kind of inevitability, and it could go away quickly.
So, in a development that may just provide more grist to the anti-Hillary mill, Mrs. Clinton spoke yesterday to a crowd in Des Moines, Iowa, laying out her agenda to increase the nation's commitment to cleaner energy sources. That was just before she boarded her private jet, which is said to burn 347 gallons of jet fuel per hour. I think we can all agree that the optics of this aren't the best, but is the media blowing this out of proportion, Brad?
They really are. Let's be clear. This doesn't amount to an accounting error when it comes to fuel consumption that affects climate change. Right? So it's a non-issue. Where it is an issue is one more example of Hillary making a big, airy speech and then getting on a plane and contradicting what she just said, implying once again there's a set of rules for all of us and a set of rules for her, and they're not the same.
And it also, you know, she got in that Scooby van and traveled all over the place in the Scooby van, and now all of a sudden that's not good enough for her, and she's on the big jet plane. It's just, she's so inconsistent with what she says and what she does. The video doesn't match the audio, and then sometimes the video matches the audio and sometimes it doesn't. I think that's what lends itself, on top of the emails, to the untrustworthy.
So let me devil's advocate a bit, okay? I understand. It looks ridiculous to go out there and make this whole statement about clean energy, being careful, and then get on a private jet plane. We've seen that charge made before. It happened with Al Gore. And yeah, okay, it's hard to argue with. On the other hand, you're talking about somebody running for president who has to make a lot of stops in the course of a day, and there's really no other way to do it. Joe, are we just picking on her when we say stuff like this?
I'm confused, Rick. I thought that she was flying business class. Wasn't she doing that for like one flight and she got the middle seat and that was the end of that? Look, she's Mitt Romney in a pantsuit, unfortunately. That is the image she has to overcome.
I got to say this. Mitt Romney at this stage of the campaign was flying not only commercial, but coach.
That's right.
He was flying coach. So that's, you know, I'm surprised that it took me to bring that point up, by the way. Nobody else on TV today has been bringing that up. But he was. When he was still running early in the primaries, he was flying coach. Why is Hillary flying private jets if she's going to go out and make this big statement about
I think
energy?
Physically, this is a grind, and she just says, I can't do it. I can't go through security and get on a plane, and I got to be in 100 different places today. So, but but then don't talk about climate change. You're going to go jump
This
on your
is-
little private
this is-
jet.
I don't
That's
think she's
even,
thinking
right.
about it.
Even if she is thinking about it, and that's the reason, right? That's that sense that irks people. You're right. It makes no material difference long term, but it makes a real difference to people who have to go through that grind. So if you're going to advocate for all kinds of rules that are going to grind my life, grind them yourself.
People don't like hypocrites.
I don't know what to say to that, but it's true. It's true. I mean, you know, optics, whatever, it's not good. All right, what do you think about a possible run by Joe Biden? Or could John Kerry once again return as the Democratic candidate? Or do you have somebody in mind that we aren't even thinking about? Do you think Hillary Clinton is trustworthy? You can weigh in with all of your answers at newsmaxtv.com/comments. Let us know. Coming up next, we're going to read some of your viewer comments. Stay with us.